Hey, it's Mark Yagi. Welcome back. And today I've got an interesting one for you. Now, you know my system. It's the right stock in the right market at the right spot on the chart, and then we squeeze the juice. Well, I've got like 3 out of 4 of those right. So let me show you like the 5 different things that you can do to make money on Amazon stock. Okay, so here we go. So let's check out Amazon. So Amazon is trying to break this 201.20 breakout point. Now you could see that on Friday it ran right up to that spot and it hit that spot and it came right down the other side. Now the interesting thing is that there was a gap down and then a gap up. So it's going to want to fill that gap. So that's number one, is like there's a little magnet there that wants to come back and fill that gap at around 190. Now, it also wants to break out at 201. The problem is we have a red market, but we have a market that's not doing well. In other words, it's trending down short term. And the primary trend is about to go negative, which is the medium term trend. And so right now we've got a very interesting thing. We've got the right stock, Amazon, great numbers, just reported some super numbers. In the right market? Nope, we are in a red market. I'll show you in a second. We have the right spot on the chart at 201.20. Another spot on this chart could be this little handle area at 195.37. Okay, so there's that. Then there's this 190, which is the filling of the gap, and then there's this 185 at the 50-day moving average. So you've got 4 different prices at which you could sell the options. Now, here we are in a red market. So when it's a red market, I like to be really conservative because the chances are is the stock is going to come down rather than go breaking out in a red market. Now, if it gets ready for a green market and it breaks out, great. But you got to sit through some pain if this red market stays red for a little while. I don't think it will, by the way, but you know, I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus. I can't predict the markets. In fact, if I try to be like Kramer, you got to do the opposite. Anyway, so the market's red. So here are the different choices that you have. Let's take a look at them. The first one is you could go out of the money. Let's say you're really bullish and you think the stock is going to go back up to 200 bucks this week. Well, I'm looking at the next 5 days. These are weekly calls. We've got Monday through Friday coming up because today the market's closed. It's the weekend. The $200 strike price, we'd get $2.70 for it, bottom line, right? So we would get $2.70 if the stock doesn't do anything, but if the stock does happen to go up to 200 or higher, we'd end up picking up $5.69 or $569 per contract. Now that gives us a 210% annualized return if the stock does that, okay? So if it stays the same, you get about 100%, okay, which is pretty good for an annualized return, but that means you got to do it over and over again. So that's the aggressive position, even though I know it's just a little bit out of the money because the stock closed at 197.93, just basically $2 down from 200. It's still like the market forces are pulling stocks down right now. And 70% of a stock's direction comes from the direction of the market. Amazon is no different. So you can look at that one. Let's go at the money, all right? 197.93, 197.50, and you could sell the 197.50s for $385. It's $348 in juice, so you're going to be getting $348 in juice, and you're going to be getting $385 in cushion, bottom line, okay? And so if you can get that, then you're going to get about 147% annualized return, which is pretty darn good. And that's right at the money, or even a little tiny bit in the money. Okay, let's keep going down. Now remember, on that next one, we have that 195 price that we talked about. Now you'd be picking up $2.43 in juice and about $5.30 in cushion. So the whole premium is in the money. So you got about half of that in the money amount and half of that is juice. And that's what we're going for when we try to set up for income. So you can look at it that way for sure. All right, that's a 90% annualized, even though you're going pretty safely a couple of bucks in the money, right? So I'm giving you all these choices, right? These options. I guess that's why they're called options. All right, the next one. All right, the next one is we have the 190s. Now this is that price where I think it's the gap, okay? So it fills that gap. You're going to get $9 worth of cushion. So you're going to be protected all the way down to 189, okay? So you're going to go down to 189, you're getting $9 a cushion, but only $1.13 of that is juice because it's more secure that it's going to be closing in the money. And if it closes in the money, you get $113 per contract, which is about a 42% return if you can go over and over again. Now, the chances of it closing in the money are pretty high, 81.5% basically, that it's going to close in the money. So if that's a good bet that you want it to be in the money, and you still get to make 42% on your money if you can do it over and over again. That's why I love in the money calls, right? Because you can go deep, and if the stock goes all the way down to 190, you're still safe. You still haven't lost really any money, okay? And then the last one I'm going to give you is, let's say that you want to do a put. You could sell a put, meaning if the stock goes down, you're willing to buy it. So you're going to sell this put at $1.49, right? $1.49 would get you 55.21 percentage, and you don't really even have to, invest any money. You just sit there in cash and you collect money. So selling a put is also a good strategy. It just depends on how you want to do it. Now, I happen to not love selling puts, but they are a valuable strategy, especially now. Now, if you love Amazon at 199 or 198, where it is now, you're going to really fall in love with it at 192.50 is the idea. The problem I have with it is I don't like to buy on weakness. And so if all of a sudden Amazon gaps down because now numbers are over and they report some kind of crazy thing and the stock gaps down to 185, well, you're going to own it at 192. So you own it when it's going down. That's the problem I have with cash secured puts. But it is a bullish strategy because you want the stock to go up, because you just get to keep that $1.49 if it keeps going up. You just do it over and over again. So here's the way it shakes out, right? You got your strike price, your gain, and your annualized return if it goes to what it's supposed to go to as you engineer this strategy. Now, if you get the strike price, you get the gain of 569, that gives you a 211% annualized return. 197.50, a little bit safer because it's right at the money. You get about 397-ish, and that's 147% return. 195, still lower. 243 gets you about a 90% annualized return. And then if you still go down deeper in the money, you get about a 42% return. And of course, you have your puts. So you get to look at this kind of graph and say, well, if it goes up, obviously I want to do the top one. But if it goes down, I want to be really safe because you're going to be losing dollar for dollar under your strike. And you're only going to get the juice, which is about 247 on that $200 strike price. So in a red market, I like to be safe and I like to sell in the money calls. But you know what? You get to decide what you think about Amazon right now as it approaches its breakout spot in a red market. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the next video.